Most successful businesses let other people help them. That way they can focus on their genius zone and they can really increase the impact that they're making in the world. In the book, I give you a lot of examples on ways that I pull a support team into my business. But what I want to do now is not go over those examples because you can obviously read that in the book. I instead want to give you some new examples. So one example I'm going to give you is about my Ben again. He loves taking care of his mama and he will do anything to pamper me and to just do those sorts of things. And he loves to do my nails. When he was about 6 or 7, he started doing this. And as I'm sure you can imagine, they were a mess. Tons of polish all over the skin and all of that. And I had a friend once who was over and she's like, oh my God. As he continued to get older and his fine motor skills increased, now he does it at the age of 8 and they look wonderful. And he's such a perfectionist and he makes sure to go and clean up the tiny little areas. And there's usually not much cleanup that needs to be done. But I allow him on my support team so that I can make sure my nails are always done and I look professional. That way I don't have to go spend money on that because I have him on my support team helping his mom in that way. When he was a baby, I worked at the nonprofit that I've mentioned before where I was the VP of Marketing and Member Services. He's a December baby and he was due on Christmas Day. It was time for our rate increases. I was in the process of getting ready to train some of the directors that I had at the different branches on this process. As I was getting that done, my water broke that night and it was 3 weeks before Ben was due. And unfortunately, what that meant was that because I, prior to that point, hadn't pulled in a support team to help me in that area and I did that task just myself, once Ben was born, I was working at home when he was only a week old with the staff at the nonprofit, trying to make sure that that process was able to be put into place the right way and trying to train people on how to do it. Had I have had a support team in place doing that particular task before that happened, I would have been able to fully enjoy my maternity leave. Even though I was 3 weeks ahead and it was going to be done 3 weeks ahead, it really should have been part of the regular task and I shouldn't have held that task onto myself for so long. Another example is these videos. With each video, you're seeing emails that come with writing and you're seeing web copy that comes in with stuff that's written. And for me, it takes forever to write. So I've mentioned the creative team I've used before. I use them to let them do the writing for that because I could do it myself, but it would have slowed down the process. Not only would it have slowed down the process, the other couple things that happen is that it would have taken longer to get this valuable content to people who need it. And it wouldn't have given me time to be able to do those things that I need to do that are only my genius zone. So I forgot to tell you at the beginning why I'm sitting in this chair in this area here. The reason is because this is the little place in my bedroom where I like to come and sit and be quiet. I like to meditate. I like to pray. This is my prayer table over here and my nightstand. I'm able to spend more time here because I had the creative team work on the writing for that. And it's amazing how quickly they were able to get that writing done and how accurate it was. And it was still in my voice. And the reason is the same creative team is the one who was recording these videos for me. So they heard me say all this stuff. They are excellent at writing. That's part of their trade and what they've been trained for throughout their lives. I'm a good writer, but it's not where I should be spending most of my time, not on a task like this. Giving that up allowed me to spend more time in my peaceful place here, and it also allowed that information to get out quicker to the people who needed it. Another example of a way I pull the kids in is Zach helps me when I do my own writing. He helps me with the editing of that. Grammar is not my thing, and I know that my clients, it doesn't really matter for them how grammatically correct things are. But there are still things where you want to make sure they're done okay and you have someone proofreading it. So whenever I do writing, I always give it to Zach. And that's something he's really good at. And he does that for me. And the beauty of having the kids help me, not necessarily with the nails because Ben's helping me as doing something nice for his mom, but there's other ways Ben helps me. Maybe he's cutting flyers out or things like that. Every time they help me in the business, I keep a log of that. And then I keep a note of how much they've worked for me and how much they've earned through the year. And then I'm able to use that as a tax write-off because as my children, they can work for me even though they're not yet 16. So that's really cool. And then as my business became more profitable, I was able to actually give them that money as opposed to just account for the fact that they're getting it through other things, like through me sending them to sports classes or things like that. But once my business started showing more cash return, I was able to physically give them that money and then put that away so that they could use that for their college, So there's so many great ways that you can pull your kids into your support team, and that you can also help that with your family budgeting and stuff. There's other ways, even if you're not doing your own business and you're at a company where there's lots of employees, there's ways you can pull your children in to support you too. Always check with an accountant on any of that tax stuff, because I don't know how that works. I just know from my own experience and with running a business on that part. But when you're building a team and you start pulling people in, it's really important that you make sure that it works for you. So this is a great chance to go back to the SWOT analysis we did. And in the SWOT analysis, to be able to see what were your strengths, and are you spending enough time in that strength area, and what are your weaknesses, and have you pulled people on your support team to be able to take care of those weaknesses. Remember that I am always here for you, and I am so proud to be a part of your support team. And I look forward to working with you as your business continues to grow and as you grow into all of the programs that we offer here at ZMB Consulting. Now it's time to put everything into action. Go to your book, write down your answers. Don't forget to check out those sample questions because they might help you do some thinking, and then post in the Facebook group. And for those more detailed questions, log them in your book. Good luck.